AITA for leaving my dad a huge bill after he called my cheating ex his son? My name is Rachel, I am 37 years old, and that night, the night of my parents' anniversary, I understood with brutal clarity that sometimes family is capable of betraying you with a smile on their face. It all started in front of my closet hours before the party. There I was trying to pick out something nice for the 45th anniversary of my parents, Nancy and Thomas. It was not just any dinner. It was supposed to be a big celebration, the kind that leaves your heart full. I already had a blue dress ready that I had been saving for weeks for a special occasion. I had done my hair, I did my makeup calmly, and I even treated myself to getting my nails done the day before. But the truth is that I had been carrying too much weight on my shoulders. 3 months ago, my divorce from my ex-husband Jason was finally finalized. And although that piece of paper closed the legal process, it did not close what it left inside me. Jason was unfaithful to me, and I am not talking about a rumor or something someone told me. I saw it. I found him with another woman in our bed, in the house where we lived as a family after 15 years of marriage. That was what I got. And the worst part was not just the infidelity, it was everything that came after. When I confronted him, he did not apologize. He got defensive as if he were the offended one. And when the divorce process started, it became a nightmare. He fought for every single thing, for every penny, for everything, as if I were his enemy and not the woman who had supported him for years. We have a daughter, Chloe. She is 12 years old, and even so, he had the nerve to refuse to pay adequate child support. And to top it all off, he demanded a paternity test. He claimed that I had been unfaithful to him. Me, the one who stayed holding our home together, the one who took care of our daughter, the one who put up with his long work trips, the one who believed that everything she did was worth it. The judge ordered the test, and of course the obvious came out. Chloe is his daughter. In the end, the court ruled that our assets would be split 50-50, and that Jason had to pay a fair amount in child support for Chloe. When everything was finally signed, I took my share, bought a condo for my daughter and me in a quiet residential area, far from the memories of that broken marriage. I put the rest in savings. It was not like I was rolling in money, but for the first time in years I had some breathing room. My parents knew everything. They saw me cry, they heard me tremble with anger. They were there when I was falling apart. That is why, when a week prior my mom casually mentioned that she wanted to invite Jason to the anniversary, my blood ran cold. We were having dinner and she blurted it out with such naturalness that it left me speechless for a few seconds. I was thinking about inviting Jason, she said, her voice matter of fact. No, Mom, that is not going to happen. She looked at me with those don't overreact Rachel eyes. I know, but we had a good relationship with him for many years. He was part of the family. He stopped being part of the family the day he decided to cheat on me. My dad tried to calm things down. Rachel, it is just one night, nothing more. I looked at him as if I did not recognize him. Are you really telling me this? You saw what he put me through, and you still want to seat him at the table as if nothing happened. My mom sighed as if I were the complicated one. We just want everything to be peaceful. Well, there will be no peace for me if he is there. I will not sit at the same table with that man. I stood my ground, and in the end they said it was fine, that they would not invite him. That reassured me. Or so I thought. Weeks before the party, my mom asked me for help paying for the anniversary. They wanted to have it at a nice restaurant with a private room. None of that, at home and everyone brings a dish stuff. It was a big plan with about 20 people. My older brother Brian with his wife and kids. My sister Megan with her husband. Some uncles, aunts, close cousins and friends of my parents. I had money from the asset division and besides they were my parents, so I said yes. I gave them a generous amount so they could buy new outfits for the occasion. And for the rest, my mom held an additional credit card I had requested for her to use for anniversary expenses. Deposits, the reservation, whatever was needed. The idea was simple. They would not have to touch their savings that night and everything would turn out beautifully without them having to count every penny. 2 weeks before the party, I met Brian and Megan at a Starbucks. I wanted to propose something to them. I had the idea of pooling our money and buying our parents a car as a surprise gift. They had been wanting a Honda for a while, one of those simple, reliable ones to get around without struggling. I thought that if the three of us did it together, it would be perfect. When I said it, Brian did not even think about it. I can't, Rachel. I blinked. What do you mean you can't? Well, Brian works in finance. He always brags about planning and making smart decisions. And Megan lives comfortably. Her husband has his own construction business. They were not short on money. But Brian shrugged. With the kids' expenses, it is tough. I don't have the funds right now. Megan nodded in agreement. Me neither. We already bought them something nice. I sat there with the coffee stirrer in my hand, not knowing what to say. It was not the first time they had stepped aside when it came to a family expense. They were always like that, careful with their money when the expense was not for them. I took a breath and nodded. Okay, it was just an idea, no problem. I left thinking I would buy a smaller present and that would be it. But that same afternoon my mom called me, thrilled, almost screaming. Rachel, Brian told me about the car. My stomach dropped. What? That you want to give us a car? Your dad and I can't believe it. We are so happy, truly. I stayed quiet. I heard my dad in the background asking what was going on. Then I heard him make a sound of surprise when my mom told him. And there, with my mom so happy, with that excitement that was palpable even over the phone, I lacked the strength to stop her. I could have said, Mom, it was just an idea and it is not going to happen anymore. I could have clarified that Brian and Megan were not going to contribute anything. I could have stopped it. I did not. I swallowed the lump in my throat and said, Yes, Mom, I will look into it. The next day, I went to the dealership and bought it. I put it in my name because it was easier for the insurance and the registration. A week before the anniversary, I took it to their house. When I parked outside, they both came out. My mom covered her mouth with her hands. My dad stood stiff for a second, and then they both started crying like children. My mom hugged me so tight that I genuinely felt she was going to leave me breathless. You are a wonderful daughter, my dad said, his eyes red. We don't deserve this. At that moment, I believed it. I completely believed it. The day of the anniversary arrived, and I was just finishing getting ready when I heard the apartment door. Chloe came running in, still wearing her bicycle helmet, out of breath. Mom, I just came from Grandma and Grandpa's house. I smiled, thinking she was going to tell me something nice about the party, but her face looked strange. What happened? She took off her helmet, fixed her hair, and told me, Grandma asked me to tell you that the party is not going to be today anymore. She says she feels sick. I froze. What do you mean it is not going to be today? When I got there, she was lying on the couch with a washcloth on her forehead. She looked pale. Grandpa was there looking worried. They told me it had to be canceled because Grandma is very sick and can't go out. The blue dress started to feel as heavy as stone. The first thing I felt was disappointment, yes, but then it was concern. I grabbed my cell phone and called my mom. She answered with a weak, strained voice, as if she were truly sick. Hello, Mom. Chloe tells me you are feeling sick. What is going on? Oh, Rachel. I had a terrible night. My blood pressure went up. I got dizzy. An ambulance even came this morning, but they told me to calm down and rest. An ambulance? Why did you not call me? I did not want to worry you. And your dad hurt his back a little helping me lie down. We are a mess today. I heard a faint groan in the background as if my dad were there. I swallowed hard. I am heading over there. I will bring you something. Let me see what you need. No, really, honey, don't come. We just need to rest. Forgive me about the party, but we can't. I stood there with the cell phone in my hand, unable to react. I hung up and sat on the bed, still dressed, with my makeup almost done. Chloe came over and sat next to me. I wanted to wear my new dress, she said softly. I stroked her hair. I know, sweetheart. I wanted to too, but they come first. But something did not add up. I did not know what, but there was a strange feeling, like when someone lies to you and you have not fully processed it yet. I thought, well, at least we can do something just us. It occurred to me to call Megan and suggest a simple dinner with our families, something low-key so we would not waste the night. I dialed her number. Hello, she answered quickly. Meg, the party for Mom and Dad got canceled. Mom is sick. Do you want to meet up for dinner, you, your husband, Chloe, and I? Something chill. There was a short pause, too short. I can't today, Rachel. I already had plans. Her tone surprised me. It was clipped. Oh, all right. Well, we will talk tomorrow. I can't talk right now. I will call you later. And she hung up. Megan never hangs up like that. Never. Then I texted Brian's wife, Lauren. With her, everything was always about social media and how exciting. Although she also had this way of looking at others as if she were always judging. I sent her a message. Hey, the anniversary was canceled because my mom is sick. Do you guys want to grab dinner with us tonight? She replied almost immediately. Oh, we can't. We already have plans. That was two identical answers in the same afternoon. And right then an alarm went off in my head. Lauren lives glued to her phone. She posts everything, absolutely everything. If she drinks a coffee, she posts it. If she buys shoes, she posts it. If her son makes a funny face, she posts it. So I opened her social media profile, and her last post was from a few minutes ago. A photo of her all dressed up in a red dress, ready to go out, and the caption read, "Ready for my parents-in-law's 45th anniversary. So excited." The blood drained from my feet. I read it again once, twice, 3 times, as if rereading it would change it. My parents-in-law's 45th anniversary, my parents' anniversary, the one that was supposed to be canceled. I felt my hands shaking, my stomach tied into a knot. I looked at Chloe. Come here, look at this. I showed her the screen. She read it, her eyes widened, and she looked at me. Mom, so the party is today? I swallowed hard. It seems so. They lied to us. I did not want to say it. It hurt just thinking about it. I don't know, sweetie, but something is not right, and I need to find out. I looked at myself in the mirror with my blue dress ready, feeling foolish for getting dressed up to celebrate a family that apparently could erase me with an excuse. I thought, if I am wrong, I will get there and no one will be there. I will be so embarrassed. But if I was right, it was going to hurt. Yes, but at least I was going to see the truth with my own eyes. I left Chloe with Mrs. Miller, the neighbor from downstairs, a trusted woman who had known her since she was a little girl. I will be back in a while. If it gets late, I will let you know. Mrs. Miller looked at my face and did not ask too many questions. Of course, Rachel, you go ahead. I left my building and drove towards the upscale downtown district with my heart pounding in my chest. Between the afternoon traffic and the stoplights, I felt every minute weighing on me. The whole way there I kept repeating to myself, it must be a misunderstanding. Lauren must have gotten confused. Surely. But no. When I arrived there, it was an elegant restaurant, one of those with large glass windows and warm lighting. And from the outside you could see silhouettes, raised glasses, people dressed to the nines. There was a party. My throat closed up. I walked in and gave the name for the reservation. The hostess smiled. Of course, right this way. She led me towards the back to a private room. With every step my stomach twisted more. And when I reached the entrance of the room, I stood still because everyone was there. My parents perfectly dressed up, sitting at the head of the table, laughing as if the lie had not existed that day. Brian with Lauren and the kids. Megan with her husband looking happy. Uncles, aunts, cousins, close friends, everyone. And sitting next to my dad in an expensive suit and with that smirk I knew all too well was Jason. My ex. The same one who cheated on me, the same one who tried to get out of paying child support, the same one who tried to make me look like a liar by demanding a paternity test. And there he was as the guest of honor. The hostess looked at me. Shall I get you a chair? I could not move. I felt as if I had been punched from the inside. At that moment someone turned around, then another, and suddenly the laughter died down. Conversations were cut short, faces grew tense. Everyone was looking at me. Everyone except Jason. He shifted in his chair, crossed an arm, and smiled as if he found it amusing to see me there. I took a single breath and walked one step further. What a surprise, I said, looking around. My mom opened her mouth, but nothing came out. I stared right at her. Mom, you look pretty good for someone who was so sick she could not get off the couch an hour ago. My dad looked down at his plate. Brian avoided my eyes. Megan sat stiffly. My mom finally spoke, stuttering. Rachel, This. What? This is not what it looks like. My voice came out calm, far too calm. And that calmness scared even me. Because it looks very clear. You told me it was canceled, you told me you were sick, and here you all are having dinner as if I did not exist. Jason leaned forward a bit with his usual fake charm. Hello, Rachel. You look great. Divorce suits you. I felt the urge to throw a glass at him, but I held back. Don't you even think about talking to me, I told him without raising my voice. My mom threw her hands up in desperation. Rachel, please do not make a scene. We can explain. I would love to hear it, truly. Explain to me how you were doing so badly that you sent Chloe to tell me it was canceled. Yet here you are laughing, dining with the man who destroyed my life. My dad finally looked up, and what he said completely broke something inside me. Jason brought us a very generous gift and wanted to be here. You know, we always had a good relationship with him. I blinked in disbelief. A good relationship. My dad pressed his lips together and delivered the final blow. He has been like a son to us. That was what made me see everything all at once. Like a son. My dad calling the man who humiliated me, who made us cry, who wanted to leave Chloe with nothing, a son. I took a deep breath. And what am I then? And Chloe, what is your granddaughter to you? My mom looked nervous, as if she had practiced a speech and forgotten it. Rachel, it is just that Jason has been helping Brian with his career. He got him the new position with an acquaintance, opened doors for him, and well, he is doing well now. We thought it would be nice to have him. Right then I understood. It was not affection. It was convenience. My sister Megan finally spoke, but not to defend me. Enough, Rachel. You are overreacting. Stop causing drama. We are trying to enjoy our dinner. Brian nodded. Yeah. Do not ruin Mom and Dad's night. You better leave and we will talk later. I looked around at my mom, my dad, my siblings, the aunts, uncles, the friends, all quiet, all watching, and Jason enjoying himself. At that moment, something settled inside me, as if my heart were saying, I get it now. I felt a cold calmness. I smiled. You all are right, I said. Jason raised an eyebrow a bit, satisfied. There, that is more like it. I did not even look at him. I looked at my parents. Enjoy your dinner. Sincerely. I turned around and walked towards the exit with my head held high, without crying, without yelling, without begging. But I did not go straight home. I sat in my car in the parking garage and took out my cell phone. First, I called the credit card company and instructed them to cancel the additional card that was in my mom's name. I told them that I no longer authorized any charges and to block any attempt to use it. The representative confirmed that from that moment on, any payment with that card would be declined. I hung up. Then I made another call to my auto insurance's roadside assistance. Good evening. I need a tow truck. What happened to your vehicle? My vehicle is fine, I said. I need to move a car that is registered in my name. It is here in the restaurant parking lot. I gave the model and color, and I also clarified the important part. I have the spare set of keys and I have the title and registration with me. I am going to wait here to hand them over and sign whatever is needed. They asked me if it was urgent. Yes, I answered. They told me the driver could be there in about 20 or 30 minutes. Perfect. I sat there looking at the restaurant from a distance. At times my hands trembled. At times a strange calmness washed over me, as if my body were on autopilot. When the tow truck finally arrived, I showed the documentation, handed over the keys, and confirmed where they were going to take it. Watching them haul it away was a mixture of anger and relief. Feeling calmer, I drove back. Between the traffic and the nightfall, I got home around 9:30. I picked up Chloe from Mrs. Miller's. She was already in her pajamas, but she was still awake, sitting on the couch, as if she could not sleep without knowing. As soon as she saw me, she sat up straight. What happened, Mom? Was there a party? I sat next to her and let out a breath. Yes, sweetheart. Yes, there was. Chloe looked at me with those big, serious eyes. They lied to us. Yes, I said. They lied to us. I did not cry. My eyes burned, but I did not cry. She looked down. I hugged her. We are going to be fine, I promise you. Chloe took a breath and said, as if she needed to hold on to something simple, Can we order a pizza? A small sad but real laugh escaped me. Yes, order whatever you want. We ordered a pizza, we sat down to watch a movie, and as strange as it sounds, that night was peaceful. Just Chloe and I, without lies, without fake faces, without people who smile at you while shutting you out. Around 11 o'clock my phone started vibrating. First my mom, then my dad, then Brian, then Megan. I did not answer. I let them ring one after another. Then the messages started coming. From my mom. Rachel, the card is declining. The restaurant can't charge it. Answer me. From my dad. There is an issue with the payment. Fix this. From Brian. What did you do? They are panicking. I waited a few minutes. Not out of doubt, but because I wanted them to feel, even if just a little bit, of what I felt when they lied to me. And then I sent a single message to my mom. You no longer have access to my card. And another one right away. By the way, the car is no longer with you. The phone started ringing again. I ignored it. Shortly after, the messages hit like punches. From my mom. Where is the car? From my dad. This is theft. From Brian. You can't do that, Rachel. It was a gift. I replied with a single message for all of them. Today you made it clear to me that you do not deserve my gifts. Ask Jason to pay for your dinner. And I blocked their numbers. Chloe was right next to me watching everything. She did not say anything, but she understood. Then in a soft voice she asked, Are we not going to see Grandma and Grandpa anymore? I smoothed her hair back from her forehead. I don't know, sweetie. They hurt us a lot today. Sometimes when someone hurts you like that, you need to step away to protect yourself. Chloe nodded slowly and then said something that squeezed my chest. I am not sad about the party anymore. I had more fun here with you. I hugged her tighter. Me too, my love. The next morning, I left early and sorted out the car situation. Since it was in my name and I had paid for it, I sold it to a pre-owned dealership. I got most of my money back. I did not mind losing a bit. The important thing was not keeping that reminder. That money went straight back into my savings account. 2 days later, I was at the grocery store, and in one of the aisles I ran into my Aunt Diane, my dad's sister. The typical aunt who finds out about everything and tells it with excitement, as if life were a TV drama. As soon as she saw me, she grabbed my arm. Rachel, I have to tell you what happened after you left. I did not want to hear it, but at the same time I did. What happened, Aunt Diane? Diane's eyes widened, delighted. Well, your parents tried to pay with your card as they had planned, because they did not want to touch their savings. And nothing, it was declined. They tried again and again, and it did not go through. I kept a straight face. Inside, my anger was settling. Your mom started getting nervous, you know how she gets. And then they asked Brian to pay. I raised an eyebrow. And he said he did not have his physical card, that he had left it in the car. I let out a humorless laugh. Diane went on. Then they asked Megan, and she said the same thing, that she did not bring her card. Imagine that, in a restaurant that expensive. I stood there. Well, I could imagine it perfectly. And then, Diane said, savoring the juicy part, your dad turned to Jason and asked him to pay. Chloe was with me at the store, pushing the cart. She leaned in a little, listening. And did he pay? I asked. Diane let out a small burst of laughter. No. He said something like, I already brought a gift. I am not paying for dinner too. Just like that, completely unbothered. I pressed my lips together. Your mom started crying right there at the table, she continued. She told him that it was his fault they had lost their daughter, and now he was not even going to help them with the bill. I took a breath. And what did he say? That you were overreacting and that was your problem. Diane leaned in closer. And then Jason got up, picked up his gift and left. He left with the gift? I asked, unable to believe it. Yes. And before leaving, he told Brian that if you kept up with your drama, he was going to close doors for him, that he had helped him get in and he could also pull the rug out from under him. Right there, I understood another piece of the puzzle. Brian was not on my parents' side. He was on the side of his own convenience. Diane looked at me. After that, people started leaving. It was really uncomfortable. In the end, your parents paid with their own credit card, but they were furious. I nodded as if she were telling me about the weather. Diane squeezed my arm. And when they went out to the parking garage, the car was no longer there. Your mom was crying as if the world had ended, and your dad wanted to call the police. until Brian reminded him that the car was in your name. Chloe looked at me with her eyes wide open. Diane lowered her voice as if she were sharing a secret. Rachel, was it you? I looked straight at her. The car was mine, Aunt Diane. I bought it. And if I decide to move it, it is my decision. Diane nodded. Well, I do not blame you. What they did was a low blow. Lying to you to shut you out and putting that cheater at the table. How infuriating. A week later, on a Saturday afternoon, I heard a knock on the apartment door. I looked through the peephole and saw them there. My parents looked different, tired, deflated. Nothing like the happy couple I saw laughing that night. I opened the door, but I did not let them in. What do you want? I asked. My mom's eyes were puffy, as if she had been crying for days. Rachel, please, we need to talk. My dad swallowed. We know we messed up. We understand. What we did was wrong. I crossed my arms and my mom started with a broken voice. We should not have lied to you. We should not have left you out. We should not have put Jason ahead of you and Chloe. My dad nodded. We messed up badly. I looked at them without moving. My mom blurted out what she really came to say. Can we get the car back? A short, sharp laugh escaped me. There is no car anymore. Their faces fell. What do you mean? My dad said. I sold it. It was mine and I sold it. My mom turned pale. You sold it? Yes. And I am not buying another one. My dad tried his usual speech. Rachel, we are family. Family forgives each other. I stared right at him. Yes, family forgives, but family also respects each other. My mom wiped away a tear. Give us another chance. I took a breath. You saw me break down because of Jason. You saw Chloe excited about that night, and even so, you preferred to lie to us so you could invite him. That is not a small mistake. My dad looked down. I took a step back. I need you to leave. I am not ready to talk. My mom tried to say something else, but my dad grabbed her arm. They left without making a scene, but they did not stop. That is when they started sending me messages from other numbers, emails, attempts to fix it. Sometimes they were apologies, sometimes it was Brian or Megan trying to convince me that I was overreacting and that it was in the past. I did not reply because it was no longer about the dinner or the car, or even about Jason. It was about the fact that that night they showed me the place I had in their lives and the place my daughter had. Chloe would sometimes ask me, do you think we will ever talk to them again? I would tell her the truth. I do not know, sweetie. Maybe someday, but right now I need to take care of us. She would nod, as if she understood more than she should at her age. And I watched her there with her calmness, with her way of moving forward, and I realized something. It still hurts, but I also feel free because Chloe and I are okay. We are building a life without lies, without people who exclude you and then ask you to pay the bill. And for now, that is exactly what we need. Comment. Hello everyone. I just want to take a moment to share a few thoughts. Sometimes the hardest lessons we face come from the very people we trust most. Setting boundaries is never easy, but walking away from hurtful situations is a necessary step towards self-preservation. You always have the absolute right to protect your inner peace and the well-being of those you love. Blood ties should never become a free pass for someone to disregard your dignity or cross your limits. I hope you remember that your worth is completely independent of how others choose to treat you. Healing truly begins the moment you stop accepting less than you deserve. True family and real friends will always offer you honesty, respect, and genuine care. I encourage you to reflect on your own circle today and make sure you are in a safe, supportive space. Please choose to surround yourself with people who celebrate your presence and build you up. If you liked it, don't forget to leave a comment and support the channel by subscribing. See you in the upcoming stories.